everybody, I'm Erin, and today I'm going to be doing a quick discussion video about books. And that's what we do here, right? This is BookTube. But this one is response to a discussion over at Booky Lorra. That's B-O-O-K-Y space L-O-R-R-A. She did a video a few days ago about big book hauls and collecting books, and it's not something she does. So she was sort of asking some questions about people that do this, and I responded to her video comment, but I think you guys should all watch it because it's something I've thought when watching videos as well. Anyway, so please go and watch it. I'll wait. I'll be here. But yeah, if you go watch it and then come back and watch this, this is a response to that, and it's just talking about she had some questions about people who do big book hauls. Like, do you read all those books? Buying and hauling 15 or 20 books at a time? What are you doing with those books? And why do you want them? Are you collecting them? What do you do with those books? And I will confess right now to having a giant shelf of books I haven't read yet. I have an entire bookcase, really, of shelves that I haven't read yet. And then I have a shelf where I keep the books that I enjoy. That shelf has all my Terry Pratchett's on it because I do plan to go and read those again. And sometimes, I just look at them and go, I want to pick up that book and read it again. I've also got my Jim Butcher's on there, the Dresden Files series, which I love reading. And I was actually starting a reread of it about a year ago, and then I got distracted with some other stuff and I didn't get very far in that. I keep some of my cozy mystery series that I really enjoy, some of the graphic novels that I really enjoy, things that oddly enough, it's in my guest room, it's in my spare bedroom, so these shelves are there for guests to pick off of and read when they're here. So in a lot of cases, I'll save books that I think people might want to read, or that are easy to read if you're spending the night at someone's house and you can't sleep. So I've got some Stuart McLean's on there because they're short stories. I have some romance. I've got, and then the other books that I really enjoyed reading. So I want to keep them there as a memory of what I really enjoyed reading. Now, she doesn't have that. She's got just a couple shelves right in behind her that have all her books. And when she's done reading books, she gives them away. And I can get that, I do. When I'm done reading a book, I kind of look at it and I make that decision about whether or not I want to keep it. If I'm going to read it again, if it's something that is going to make me feel good by having it on my shelves, and so on. But you know me, you guys, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, I thank you for that. But if you have been watching my channel for any length of time, you've seen that I do big book hauls. I did quite a few book hauls last year, and my to-be-read shelf got rather full. This year I'm trying to rectify that a bit. So I've got a plan in my head, I'm working on it, where I'm reading books off my shelves. So far it's been fairly successful. I've read like maybe 15 books off of those shelves, which, is one book haul from last year, or my Boxing Day book haul from this year. This year. It arrived in January. Why am I buying all of these books? How do I choose the books that I buy? And then I see a lot of people unhauling books, and they're unhauling books that they have never read because their tastes have changed, which is one of the points that Laura mentions in her thing. Like, what if you want to read that book when you first see it, but you never actually get around to reading it, or your tastes change and you don't read it? I try to pick books that I know my taste isn't going to change on. Sometimes I'll pick up a book on a whim, and I have regretted that. I have never unhauled a book that I've not read, or that my husband hasn't read. I'm going to get around that with that one a little bit, because as long as somebody in the house has read it, that's okay, right? When I buy the books, I know what I like. So I am currently reading, the Ian Rankin series. I'm currently reading John Rebus, that's his name. And I know the books that I've read, so if I see another book in the series that I haven't read yet, and it's a good price, please note, I'm not afraid of used books. This was a used book that I got for less than $5. So if I see a book that I know I'm going to want to read eventually for an author, I will pick it up if it's a good price. If I'm on Book Outlet and they're having a sale, I'll buy books that are on my Goodreads TBR or that are, you know, next in series kind of thing, or within a few books of next in series. I've been known to buy, you know, the 20th book in a series when I'm reading number 8. Eventually I'm going to get to that book and I'm going to want to read it. I don't read books out of series, which would probably be easier if I did read books out of series, but I don't. When I'm looking at books and I'm buying books, I try to make sure that they're books that I am going to want to read and that I'm not going to end up unhauling unless something goes horrifically wrong in the series later on. And I do keep them. I do have collections of books, and I don't mind having collections of books because most of them have good memories, right? What better way to keep some of the good memories of books I've read and stories I've enjoyed than keeping the books? Like the Terry Pratchett series, obviously. I like doing book hauls. I don't particularly enjoy having a bunch of books on my shelf that I haven't read yet, but a book Olive at a Book Olive did a really interesting take on this as well, where she talked about never wanting to be at a 0 TBR because, you know, then what? If you've read all the books that you want to read, what's next? And she's right, in a way. She lives in an area where it's quite possible to get snowed in. And I live in Canada, so it's extremely possible that I'll be snowed in and need something to read. And I've got lots of books now on my e-reader, on my bookshelves. And it just gives me that ability to pick and have a selection of, like a bigger selection of options when I am choosing my next book to read. I can choose between, you know, graphic novels, or I can choose between a series or a standalone, or maybe try something new with a sci-fi that my husband was interested in, or a fantasy that my husband was interested in and we bought. Then I decide I want to read it. So I enjoy having books. And I understand that if I ever move again, there's probably going to be another decluttering and a debooking of my shelves, which I had to do when we moved from Edmonton to Calgary. And it was hard for me to choose some of those books to get rid of. But at the same time, you know, I've got the space. I enjoy having books there for people to read when they come to visit. And I kind of enjoy acquiring books. And I like when I get to acquire them in interesting ways. On vacation, I've got a stack of books that I got at Powell's in Portland when we were in Portland, you know, and those are kind of memories. Or from Auntie's Bookshop in Spokane, Washington, when we drove through there and I went shopping and bought some used books in that store. Or when I go to the recycle center and they're free and I get carried away. Or when I go to, you know, a thrift store and they're selling books for 25 or 50 cents each. And I see authors that I like or books that I'm interested in or I've seen people talk about. And I'm not going to pass by that opportunity to buy a book for 25 cents at the library or at a thrift store or get it for free knowing that I want to read it because I'm cheap. So I will buy, you know, a lot of books in that manner. And same with sale books, right? If I can get a good deal on books like the Black Friday sale or the Boxing Day sale on Book Outlet, I will absolutely take advantage of that every time because I read a lot of books and I don't want to be paying full price for them all the time. So that's how I feel about it. And I agree with the Book Olive. I don't want my TBR to get to nothing. Do I want to focus on reading books that have been on my shelves a little longer than others? Yes, I do. But I am not doing a book buying ban. I'm not going to stop acquiring books, if only because it's always nice to sit and hold a book and pet it and call it your pretty. No, I don't do that. It'd be more fun if I did, but I don't. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this? Do you like watching book hauls? I love watching them because I like seeing what people are buying. I like seeing kind of what the trends are. I love seeing people getting good deals. Good deals. I love seeing that. Actually, there's a Cozy Mystery series on that. There is. I think the Bargain Shoppers or something like that. These little old lady that just go around and Bargain Hunter series. Anyway, I can't remember. But anyway, so I do. I love good deals. Yeah. And the ability to shop my bookshelves for things like March Mystery Madness and just go, hey, I've got all the books I need for that. So yeah. How do you feel about it? Do you like having a collection of books? Do you feel overwhelmed by a collection of books? How do you manage your TBR? I'd love to hear from you guys. And I hope you go and watch Booky Lorra's video as well because it was really interesting. And it made me think about kind of how I view the books on my shelves and my priorities there. Thanks for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be talking to you all again soon. Bye.